How to surrender to the present moment. Life is always now, this present moment. When you are in present moment, you are in alignment with your true self, the formless consciousness that is you. Surrendering to this present moment without any judgments is one of the greatest practices to know your true self. Surrender to what is, just this moment, not the past and not the future, but just this present moment. Method 1. Surrendering to what is. 1. Understand mental conditioning. The automatic mental resistance to situations or people or internal state, thoughts and emotions, is the greatest reason for human suffering and pain. It's the conditioned mind that resists what is and inflicts torture and suffering on yourself. Plus, human mind is human mind, its very nature is to relay mostly pointless, repetitive thoughts as per the conditioning. You may have this delusion that resisting to thoughts, reactions, undesirable situation and emotions, can neutralize or dissolve them. Otherwise, who would offer futile resistance to life? In fact, resistance that mind creates is more disturbing than the original cause it's trying to dissolve. Plus, it re-energizes the reactions and patterns. Read Dissolve the Ego for more insight. For example, if you didn't choose unhappy thoughts and feelings, where did they come from? The greatest difficulty is the mental resistance to things that arise, and the underlying assumption is that they should not. Eckhart Tolle. 2. Dissolve the ego. Ego is current state of consciousness of humanity. A conceptualized lens through which we see the world. It's the identification with thoughts, voice in your head, and emotions. Ego was a necessary stage in the evolution of consciousness, but now to advance into the next stage, we must dissolve the ego. Its cause as per the current state of humanity, there is a sense of urgency evolve or die. Its cause sanity and insanity are rising at the same time. It is highly recommended that you read Dissolve the Ego for more insight. 3. Surrender. Presence, the universal intelligence, can come into being only through enthusiasm, enjoyment and surrender. There are many negative, by conventional terms, things that happen in life, and of course you cannot enjoy or be enthusiastic about them. It's precisely at these times surrender needs to be practiced. So surrendering, or yielding internally to what is a profound but simple practice. It's because when you truly surrender to the present moment, then a greater intelligence is in charge, and only through surrender you have access to it. Don't misinterpret surrender as giving in. Surrender is purely an internal phenomenon. It means to offer no inner resistance to the flow of life within you, without any judgments or reservations. What's the flow of life within you? The thoughts and emotions that arise in response to anything at this moment. Allow them, let them be and let them go. This doesn't mean you can't take action. Surrender is perfectly compatible with action. In fact, surrendered action is infinitely more powerful as it's in alignment with universal intelligence. Surrender happens naturally when you truly realize that your thoughts and emotions are automatic and resistance is futile. You just need to surrender to the tiny segment called the now. As past and future are no more than thought forms that arise in the now. Use the suffering, at this moment, as an opportunity to surrender. Then you will see how this suffering transmutes into presence, like alchemy. We are not talking about presence in abstract terms. If you truly surrender, you will feel an aliveness, a transcendence within yourself. This aliveness is always present in us, but heavily disguised by mental noise and emotions. Only through surrender you can transmute and transcend this resisting static. If you can't surrender, then bring surrender to your non-surrender. Accept that you can't accept. The moment you completely accept your non-peace, your non-peace transforms into peace. Anything you accept fully will take you into peace. This is the miracle of surrender, Eckhart Tolle. Method 2. Being in the present moment. 1. Make present moment your best friend. On the surface, each day of your life appears to consist of thousands of moments where different things happen. Yet if you look more deeply, is there not only one moment, ever? Is life ever not this moment? This one moment, now, is the only thing you can never escape from. The one constant factor in your life. No matter what happens. No matter how much your life changes. One thing is certain. It's always now. Since there is no escape from the now, why not welcome it, become friendly with it? Regardless of the form of the present, doesn't matter how bad it looks, like some illness, disastrous life situation, torturous job, etc. What is the problem with this moment? You are reading this now. Your problems are no more than psychological burden of past and future. Read Know Your True Self to learn more. 2. Become one with life. When you are one with life, then everything around you becomes friendly because you are in alignment with it, so become one with the greater whole by allowing the flow of life within and without. That's when creative and intelligent action in response to your problems arise, from deep within you. This action is in alignment with the totality of the universe. For example, if you have a torturous job, you might find yourself walking out of there, or you might find yourself in a state of no resistance. Either way you would be at peace. Read Know Your True Self for more depth. 3. Observe that ego is very clever and short-sighted. The deeper you go into the now, the more and more thoughts and emotions will come as if they must be dealt with immediately. So there is a high possibility that you may end up getting identified with them. As for ego, present moment is the greatest enemy because it gets most of its food from past and future. As it thinks dwelling on past and future will somehow dissolve the pain, which is delusional and short-sighted. The moment you miss the present moment, thoughts will take you over. So an intense alertness is needed. Use these thoughts as a cue to go deeper into the now. For example, when you catch yourself lost in thinking, become more aware of the present moment anchors like your inner body, breathing, sense perceptions, etc. Alternatively, you can be there as a witnessing presence in the background by letting the thoughts and emotions come and go. It also helps to gather evidence to see that most of our thinking is repetitive and futile. Plus it can help you see the never-stopping voice in your head more clearly. Read Stay Rooted in Being for more insight. It's very efficient to keep a balance or combination of above practices, depending upon the degree of awareness in you at that moment. Read Stay Rooted in Being for more depth. 4. Go deeper into your pain. Instead of escaping from the pain, go deeper into it. Keep putting your attention on your deep negative emotions and feel them fully. Template, pain body. Don't let it rise up and turn into thinking. Being aware of your breath at the same time helps a lot. Read Stay Rooted in Being for more depth. Just watch the why. Why am I getting these thoughts or emotions? Why am I not doing this? Why did I do that? Futile conditioned reactions to reactions and so on, that are unconsciously re-energizing them. It's a dreadful dysfunction that most of the humanity is suffering to a varying degrees. Plus it's so common that we think that it's normal. Just like you can't fight the darkness, you cannot fight unconsciousness. So just bring the light of presence to become aware of these unconscious or unobserved thoughts, patterns and emotions within you. Just watching is enough. As when you are watching, a different dimension of consciousness emerges through you. Far more intelligent than human mind. Surrender comes when you don't ask, why is this happening to me? Because you live in the totality of the universe where all events and forms are interconnected. Hey Race a Pointer, I am never upset for the reason I think. Course of Miracles. Method 3. Some practices to surrender. 1. Practice inner acceptance. This means relinquish the inner resistance you have been offering to the circumstances, thoughts and other stimuli. Say an inner yes to present. Doesn't matter what you say or do externally, but there should be an inner yes or an inner alignment to what is. What does it mean to say inner yes? It means say yes to the thoughts and emotions that arise in your consciousness by allowing, accepting, or giving them full attention, etc. However, you don't have to follow them, as thoughts create a lot of problems too. When there is an inner acceptance, then you have a choice to follow a thought or refuse to follow it, externally. In the same way you would have a choice to follow circumstances or people or refuse to follow them. There will be time when you would have to say no, externally, but that would be a deeper no. Not from ego but from deep within you. Do experiments to learn, like refuse to follow some thoughts and then see the result. However, there should always be an inner yes, an inner acceptance. 2. Start with little things. Give your full and unconditional attention to anything you are doing. Like brushing your teeth, cooking, washing hands, walking, etc. Most of the people are lost in thoughts while doing these chores, but these simple chores can be great opportunities to practice surrender. Everybody's life really consists of small things. Greatness is a mental abstraction and a favorite fantasy of the ego. The paradox is that the foundation for greatness is honoring the small things of the present moment instead of pursuing the idea of greatness. Eckhart Tolle. 3. Give. On a universal level, giving is same as receiving. The more you give, the more you will receive. If you feel like you are lacking something in life, then ask yourself, what can I give in this situation? Try this for a couple of weeks and see how it changes your reality. whatever you think people are withholding from you, praise, appreciation, assistance, loving care, and so on, give it to them. You don't have it? Just act as if you had it, and it will come. Then, soon after you start giving, you will start receiving. You cannot receive what you don't give. Outflow determines inflow. Whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you already have, but unless you allow it to flow out, you won't even know that you have it. This includes abundance. 4. Stay rooted in being. Be aware of your breathing, inner body, or sense perceptions, as much as you can. Our inner body is a bridge between form and formless, universal intelligence. So keeping some attention within while doing anything, not only keeps you connected to present moment, but also make your actions high quality. Read Stay Rooted in Being for more depth. 5. Recognize the interconnection between mind, emotions, and body. If you are aware enough, you would have noticed physical reactions to your thoughts in body and vice versa. Like tautness in face or brain muscles and muscles around your heart in response to a thought. Similarly, have you noticed emotional reactions to your fearful thoughts in body? Like anxiety, fear, anger, etc. If you could single out the moment, you will observe that physical pain and emotions are simply intense pressure or energy you feel somewhere in the body. For the most part, that doesn't make you unhappy. It's the continuous thoughts in response to these, is what make you unhappy. As mentioned before, feel this pain, negative emotions, and don't let it rise up and turn into thinking. Instead, go deeper into them and feel them fully. 6. Experiment. Mental labeling happens automatically on the basis of conditioning your mind had. Have you noticed when you see some person or experience something, there is a small pause and then mind kicks in with all the mental labeling? Try it now. Look away from the screen and watch your inner self with high alertness. Did you notice a pause of no thought and then the heavy mind machinery started, causing a taut feeling in your body and brain muscles? Did it feel as if resisting or judging what is? Many people are not even aware of this automatic mental labeling or painful impulse because of the mental noise or because they consider it normal. Similarly, we automatically judge or label people or a group of people. This is the biggest reason why it becomes easier to vilify people, because we have already vilified them in our mind by labeling or conceptualizing them. To reduce the aliveness of another human being to a concept is already a form of violence, Eckhart Tolle. 7. See the suchness of this moment. She didn't have the decency to return my call, he gave me a bad review, I could lose my job, the soup is so damn cold, I am never coming to this place again, I have been feeling fatigued for a while now, do I have cancer? How simple life would be without these mental stories. She did not call, he gave me a poor review, the soup is cold, there is tautness in my body. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare. 8. Smile and laugh at it. When you notice yourself being taken over by mind or any egoic pattern, then smile, laugh and have fun with it. For example, make fun of yourself like I am in nut mode, I have been possessed by ego, etc. It's like channeling the reactions, negative energy, to transmute them in a creative and constructive way. Thoughts and emotions is energy that arises in your consciousness. Since energy can only be transmuted, so practices like verbalizing, inner body awareness, breath meditation, etc. help transmute negative low-frequency emotions to high-frequency. Another reason why resistance is futile. Read Stay Rooted in Being for pragmatic practices. Allow, remain non-reactive and smile, even if it makes you do or say things you don't want to say or do. Learn from the past but don't feel guilty about it because then it becomes psychological pain. 9. When you are stillness, what can you resist? Most of us don't know who we truly are. Trapped in this dream of life, sense perceptions and ruled by thoughts, without even knowing it's not us. That's the reality of the majority of people completely identified with mind and form. They are not even there. Feeling uncertain or thinking it's nonsense. 10. Force your mind to surrender. Have you noticed that before you start running or any other challenging task, mind activity is high? For example, thoughts like this is gonna be tough, I don't want to run, this is a mistake, etc. will start arising in your consciousness. However, when you push through that initial static of thoughts and emotions by running for some time, then the thoughts in the beginning change or disappear. If you had believed your mind in the first place, would you have run? The initial thoughts we get are what we are conditioned to think. This is why instead of fighting the conditioned thoughts, which on the contrary make them stronger, channel reactive energy of thoughts to something constructive, like replacing these thoughts with present moment anchors, making it fun and silly, or even constructive action, thoughts or content. As that's what reconditions your mind. Read Stay Rooted in Being and become mentally flexible for more depth. One of the reasons for high thought activity is because of the unreleased surplus energy in us. 'Cause mind acts out this surplus energy via thoughts. So some form of thorough physical workout helps a lot to release this surplus energy, as physical exertion drastically reduces mind activity and forces it to surrender. So try different experiments and activities to force your mind to surrender. 11. Enter now from there. The time is always now. Feeling regret or guilty about something you did or didn't do, enter now from there. Feeling sad because of some loss, enter now from there. Feeling resentment, enter now from there. Too excited or anxious, enter now from there. Feeling unforgivable or self-pity, enter now from there. Again, even if you are going through a bad situation or stuck in past or future, what's stopping you to become present now? You have power only in the now. Suppose you forgot to be aware of your breath or inner body, can you become aware of it now? Instead of feeling guilty about it, just forgive yourself and enter now from there. 12. Free yourself from all concepts. Your mind might ask questions like, so how can I allow thoughts and emotions? What does it mean to watch your inner self? What's enter now from there? Etc. and come up with mental answers to the questions on the basis of its conditioning. For example, your mental answer could be, watching means to just be silent and observe, another concept. This might trigger another question, so how can I observe? And this might lead to another mental interpretation, until mind conceptualizes it with a notion that it will free you of the ego, which is short-sightedness. It's okay to have these concepts in the beginning, or use them from time to time, but understand that the words and concepts are no more than stepping stones to be left as quickly as possible. Finger, concept or thoughts, pointing to the moon, consciousness, is not the moon. You know, who are you? You are the awareness, subject, that sees these thoughts, concepts and reactive thoughts, voice in head or objects, that uses the words like I or you and pretends to be you. Again, don't look at the thought, look where it points to. Awareness is non-conceptual. If you try to understand it through concepts, you will get lost. This is why there is no doing required from your side but just an alert seeing. Tips. Don't use any method as a crutch. As you practice along, there should be no method. If this article does make some sense, then process of awakening has begun. These words are just pointers, pointing to the something that is formless. They are just signposts pointing the way, they are not it. Being present may get mentally interpreted as to suppress thinking in a mind's short-sighted attempt to become free of thinking. That doesn't work. Some of the pointers in the article may not make sense to you at this time, but they may make sense in the future as new events in your life unfold.